So good morning everyone. So today is our class 41 and today we will be going to discuss about a topic on gravity dam. So the learning objectives of our proceeding content is about the types of gravity dam which we have already covered. Second is forces acting on a gravity dam. Third, causes of failure of gravity dam. 4. Elementary profile of gravity dam. 5. Practical profile of gravity dam. 6. Limiting height of gravity dam. And 7. The drainage and inspection galleries. So these are the total purpose of studying, or you can say this is our the actual learning objective to study this topic. Well, this is a typical diagram of a gravity dam. So this part is the upstream side where it is also known as a reservoir. Okay, and this part is the downstream side. Well, so let us first discuss about the advantages and disadvantages. Before knowing any content, we should know the pros and cons of that particular thing. So let us study about the advantages. Well, the main advantage of constructing or choosing a gravity dam is it is strong, stable and durable. Second is suitable for moderately wide valleys having steep slope. Well, this gravity dam, the type of dam where the gravity dam comes, it is most preferable to choose when the valley are the wide, as I have already shown in the previous one, right? The valleys are wide and having a very steep slope. So when the situation is like that, the profile of the valley is quite wide, which I have already shown in my previous picture. That was a very wide valley, and if the slope is very steep, then in those cases gravity dam construction is mostly preferable. Next is it can be constructed to very great heights. Okay, so in the case of Arden Dam, you would not have, you actually have a height restriction. Above that, you cannot construct or you cannot make a good structure to withhold a water. So in that case, you can use a gravity dam where the heights are very much high. Next is suitable for an overflow spillway section. So in this kind of structure, overflow spillway section is much suitable. We can construct it in a very ease. Next point is maintenance cost is very low, and next one is it does not fail suddenly, like it is not that much susceptible to a seepage failure, like we have already studied in our earthen dam. That was our major failure impact which we have considered, but in this case, so the failure will not happen suddenly. Well, next let us study about the disadvantages. Well, first is the gravity dams of great height can be constructed only on sound rock foundation. Well, the caution of constructing this gravity dam is provided the foundation will be having a sound rock, or the foundation will have to be very much strong to withstand that gravity or gravitational force or the gravitational load or the weight of the dam. Okay, next is the initial cost is more than earthen dam. Third is it takes longer time to construction. Fourth, it's require more skilled labor than earthen dam, obviously. And so fifth one is subsequent raise is not possible in a gravity dam. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of constructing gravity dam. Next, we will discuss about the forces, that what are the possible forces which will be acting on a gravity dam. So we have to design as per resisting those forces. So we have to be aware about these forces. So first one is water pressure, second uplift pressure, third pressure due to earthquake forces, 4 silt pressure, 5 wave pressure, 6 ice pressure, 7 the stabilizing force is the weight of dam itself. So these are the main focused forces which we will discuss about in our later slides. So there are several minor kind forces which we will have to be aware of, but these are the main forces which we have to be more concerned before designing a gravity dam. So let us first discuss about the force which will be as a part of water pressure. So as we know, this is the major force which will come over the dam. So here see, water pressure is the major force. See, the water pressure will obviously hit on this surface of the wall, or it will create a pressure on this upstream side wall as in a horizontal direction, right? And as we know from the hydrostatic pressure distribution, that the water pressure will act in this triangular form, right? See, in that at the very base the water pressure will be maximum, and at the top the water pressure will be minimum. Just the water pressure will actually increase with the height or the depth of the dam. So as we already have studied about this, so this will form as in a triangular form. So at the base, so actually what is the unit weight of the water? Mean that per meter cube of volume how much of water will contain. So it is actually 9.81 kilonewton of water will contain in a 1 meter cube of volume container. So that is the unit weight of water. So here actually that unit weight of water into that height will be the pressure at the base. Why the unit weight into height? That unit weight into height will give me what? It will give me the stress at the bottom or at the base of the dam. So here that base will be gamma WH, and the pressure will be acting at the CG of this triangle. So as we know that the CG will lie from this bottom will be 1/3 of this total height. The 1/3 of this total height that CG will lie. So from bottom section h by 3, from the h by 3 distance, that pressure will lie at creating a stress of half gamma WH square. So how does half gamma WH square comes? So we will calculate the area of this hydrostatic pressure distribution. So what will be the area of that triangle? It will be half into base into height. So half into base is gamma WH into h is height. So it will give me half gamma WH square, which will act on the centroid or the CG distance of this triangle, which will lie from this h by 3 distance from the bottom plane. Okay, so this is so in this way we will calculate our water pressure. So the next type of pressure is the water pressure, when in that case where the dam, here as you can see that dam part is quite situated in a slant way or a inclined way. So in this case, how will you calculate the water pressure? So it can be formed due to the accumulation of silt, or it can be construct in this way. So in this case, where this upstream side face is partially vertical and partially inclined, so in this case, due to that inclined part, the force will be divided in two components. Well, one will be in a horizontal component and other one will be in a vertical component. So see, in a horizontal component, see, the pressure distribution of water will remain in this triangular form as it was, and it will act from the bottom h by 3 distance, and that pressure will be, horizontal pressure will be half into gamma w into h square, mean half into base into height, right? But in the case of vertical force, what will be the vertical force here? See, the vertical force will be the area of this part, right? So what is this part? This is a, say this is a d c b, so the equal weight of this part will be the vertical forces acting in this direction. Okay, the weight of water at this column will be our vertical component at the CG of the area. So we have to calculate the CG of that particular area. So after that we can put our vertical component at this direction. Okay, so see, as in similar case, in the tail, this is called the tail water, mean in the downstream side, the storage, see, this is a stored water, so this is called a tail water. See, this tail water is also stored in a form, I mean it is also stored in a inclined shape of the downstream side. So it will also create two component, which one is horizontal and vertical. So here the vertical component will be calculated in a same manner which we will be calculating in this place. So here the area of that area of that triangular from that vertical axis acting at the CG of this part, and the horizontal component, see this triangle, it is the central the CG distance is, say if this is h dash, so the CG distance will be h dash by 3, and this is gamma w h dash, and so our horizontal component, force component, will act at the h dash by 3 distance, and that will be our half gamma w h dash square. Okay. So next one, we have to calculate our weight of dam. So we cannot neglect that part, because the huge amount of gravitational force or the weight due to the gravitational pull will be acting on the foundation, right? So we have to also calculate this weight of dam. So this weight of dam is all the weight or the gravitational force is acting in a downward way, right? So we have to keep it in our mind. So the weight of dam will be in a downward way. And see, so this suppose assume this is a schematic diagram of a gravitational dam. So when we will be going to calculate the weight of dam, see, we have to create these segments. See, this part, this is a triangular part, this say the weight of this part has been considered to be W2. This part, see this straight rectangular part, this has been named as W1, and the rest of this triangular part, this has been named as W3. So by dividing into several triangles and rectangular, the weights can be computed easily. So the total weight of the dam, weight, say this is the total weight. So the total weight W of the dam acts at the CG of its section. So we will, after that, we can calculate in this manner. So the total weight of the dam we can calculate by the weight equal to volume per unit length into the density of the material, mean, or the unit weight of the material. See, so see that water seeping through the pores, cracks and fissures of the foundation material, and water seeping through the dam body and then to the bottom through the joints between the body of the dam and foundation at the base exert an uplift pressure on the base of dam. So as I have discussed, and we have already studied it in our Khoslas theory explanation, where the creeping methodology or the percolation of water, when it takes place, the uplift pressure from the foundation may get induced. So it is a second major external force and must be accounted for in all calculation. Such an uplift force virtually reduces the downward weight of the body of the dam and hence acts against the dam stability. So according to United States Bureau of Reclamation, USBR, according to them, the uplift pressure intensities at the heel of the dam and the toe should be taken equal to their respective hydrostatic pressure. So this, let us just discuss with this diagram. See how it has been calculated. So the uplift pressure at this part will be equivalent to the pressure at the base at this point, and proceeding to the downward side, the uplift pressure at this point will be the stress at the base of the tailwater. Okay, so now in this case, in this scenario, see how we will calculate this line. I mean, see, this has been reduced. See, this triangular part has been reduced to this length, in a certain length, right? Let me just draw it. So say this was our actual triangle in this case, and this length has been reduced. Okay. So let us just divide this part in this manner. We can divide this part at this manner. See, just say this is the total triangular part and this is the rectangular, this is the triangle part and this is the rectangle part, and this was the previous when the drainage gallery was not provided, that in that case that this part would have been representing that case. Now we only have to calculate this length. Okay, so I mean this part, this neglected part, if we calculate this part, then we can easily find out that length. Okay, so here see that height can be can be represented as gamma WH minus gamma WH dash. So that length minus that length will give me what? Will give me this height. See, in the similar way, if you subtract gamma WH and gamma WH dash, so you would have get this length, right? Similarly, we will get this length. So this length divided by 1/3 or divided by 3, this part has been only described in this theoretical slide.